Here today with Coach Marty Mattner, just to go over yesterday's performance here on the Oval. We've had some questions from some of our members and supporters. If you could address those, Marty. Why do you think the team failed to capitalise on the breeze advantage in the first quarter, especially considering how effectively we used it in that third quarter yesterday?
It would have been nice to get more goals in the first quarter, but it's also, there's other factors. There's the team, the opposition, you're sort of working out what they're doing as well. But you're right, we didn't capitalise, in that first quarter. We spoke about some things at half time, changed a few things, and we're able to get that in the third quarter. But there's many different factors in the reasons why we didn't capitalise in the first quarter.
So is there a strategy or a game plan when you're facing significant breeze during the game?
Not really. We try to, move the ball the same way as we do with it, against it, whether it's not windy, wet, dry, all those sorts of things. There are different aspects you try to adjust to with the breeze. But we felt like that the way we moved the ball wasn't the way we wanted to. So whether it was in the first half and that was into the breeze and with the breeze. So it wasn't ideal. Third quarter, we got those things right and played some really good. Even the last quarter, the first sort of 10 to 15 minutes of the last quarter, I thought we played really well. Kicking into the breeze, kicked the first goal of the last quarter, but I just couldn't sustain that. And probably the second half of the last quarter.
There has been some frustration among supporters and members about the team's tendency to avoid going long and direct through the corridor, opting instead for short passing, often to 50-50 contests. What's your approach to that, or what have you got to say about that?
Well, ideally we're not kicking a 50-50 contest. That's probably the main reason, but it is a very interesting comment because last week against Glenelg we did the same game plan, same structure, same offense and ball movement, and probably wasn't many comments about the way we moved the ball there. So it is it's a week to week thing. Like the opposition are going to defend differently. They would have seen us against Glenelg do that, so they might have defended differently than they have in the past, or what they thought they were going to do. So those things are always a challenge, and it's just for the group to adjust to that on the weekend. But I don't think we adjusted well enough early, and I do agree with that. We did kick to a few 50-50 contests through the midfield, which didn't help as well.
We also noticed that the team struggled with kicking out from defence after a point was scored, and defending opposition kick-outs, often resulting in turnovers. What do you think contributed to these challenges, and how do you plan to address them going forward?
Yeah, it is an interesting one because I think we've been our best this year at actually scoring from kick-ins as well. So there is a balance. If you're going to, try a few kicks and try to be a bit more attacking in the back half, you are going to turn a few over, but you're also going to score as well the other way. So it is a balancing act. We probably haven't quite got that balancing act right at the moment. But I think, and I believe the reserves at the moment and the league we've scored probably more than we would have at this time last year from kick-in. So, and our back half as well. So ideally we want to, not have that option where we're in the back half transitioning the ball into offence, but it does happen. And as I said, if we are going to, try and be a bit more offensively minded, then we are going to have some turnovers as well.
And with Tommy Lewis, when can supporters expect his return to the lineup, and how do you anticipate his presence in the team will affect performance moving forward?
He'll have a big presence and a big impact on the team. We love Tom playing, but at the moment he's just got a few, things that are just sort of keeping him out. He's just been a bit sore a few weeks at training, hurt his calf round one. And there's just some things that are not quite right at the moment. He's not quite 100%, so we're just trying to get that right, so when he can play, he can perform at his best and have the greatest impact that we need him to have.
So I'm going to give you a right to respond with your own words about how you saw the game, and maybe touch on the reserves quickly. But before you do that, James Battersby, our captain, celebrated his 200th game yesterday. What does his leadership and contribution mean to you personally, and how do you think James's presence or just being out there playing has impacted the team throughout his career?
Yeah, it's a pretty special accolade, I think, 200 games. Not many players get to achieve that now in the SANFL. and James has been able to do that and play predominantly his whole career at a very high level. Multiple best and fairest winner, 2-time premiership player, captain of the footy club. He's had a huge impact on the club, the players, the staff, the members, everyone. And, you know, it is very positive impact that he's had on this club as well. So, yeah, love James, loves the way he leads the club, challenges me, helps the players. He's been a great, I guess, player for this footy club and for a long time. So, yeah, it's a great achievement for him. And hopefully there's a few more moving forward.
Okay, over to you. Your thoughts on the game?
Oh yeah, the game was probably a tale of two halves. I thought the first half we didn't quite play the way we wanted to play. We didn't capitalise in the first quarter and probably let Eagles play the way they wanted to play, which was frustrating, especially after last week's performance. And then we probably got back in the game sort of the end of the second quarter. We kicked the last two of that, and then the third quarter we changed a few things structurally, which I think worked for us. And then the last quarter, again, it was a bit of a challenge. We probably gave ourselves chances and opportunities. We kicked the first to the last, and we also had some opportunities late in the game to kick goals, and we didn't quite capitalise on that. So it was probably a really frustrating game. We didn't play well for long enough. That was probably the key take home from the game.
Finally, your take out from the reserves game?
The reserves were very good. We're slowly starting to get some players back after a few injuries as well, which is helping. But I think the reserve side have been playing really well, and there's some players in there that are really putting some pressure on some of the league players in terms of performance, which is pleasing to see.
Thanks, Marty.